programmers, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to start with C++. So before starting with C++, I would like you to tell you that I have made this playlist of BlueJ, so make sure you have accessed it. It has all the videos for BlueJ, so you can just save it so it becomes easy for you to access it whenever you want. So now let's start with C++. So for C++, I have this compiler C++. We are going to do the we are going to compile C++ online. So just search C++ compiler online and you can take any compiler you want. So right now I'm using the GDB compiler here. So when you open GDB, you get this format already printed, but we are going to study about these format, each and every line in detail. So I'm going to be using this comments option, and let's start. So IO stream here is made, you can just say it's meant for two things. It is just like there are two streams, so in it, that is the input and the output stream. So input stream is basically for the input, whatever input will be given by the user to us, and output is whatever we will provide to the user. So this is the input and the output stream. And if we talk about streams in detail, streams are you can say they enhance the functionality of the program, and they are also used for performing some functions. So this whole line is actually called the header file. This is also a very important note. This line is called the header file, and we have two types of header files just for extra information, which is system header file and user defined header files. So system header file is the header file which comes with the compiler. It automatically comes here. This is the example of the system header file, and user defined header file is written by the programmer. So I can also write any header file, but I'll not go through that because it's we can only do when we learn the basics. So now let's move on to using namespace std. So using namespace std is meant so that we do not need to write std again and again when we write cout. So if I just write cout, GDB gives us options, so it's very easy for us to work with it. It makes the work faster. So if in order to not write std like this, we write using namespace std so that it automatically appears here. Now we have int main. So we all know that int is actually integer. For integer, full form of int is integer. So it's a data type, and main is the entry point of the program. So this is where the whole program starts, and this actually tells us that the program is starting. So to start the program, we start the program with curly braces. After the curly braces, between the curly braces, whatever we write, these are all called our functions. So the C outline and this return 0 are our functions. So C out, and I'll also talk about C in here. So cout is meant for, if I compare it with BlueJ, just like in BlueJ we used system.out.println to print the statements which will be visible to the user. Similarly, we are going to use cout to print the statements which will be visible to the user. So for cout we use two less than signs, and then in double quotes we write the statement which has to be entered, and after that we end it with semicolon. But and to take the inputs, if you remember, we used to write our inputs in void main, just like this, in the void main brackets. So whatever was our input, whatever we had to ask from the user, we had to write in this bracket. But here we have separate function for it, which is the cin. In means input, so we are taking the input from the user, and for cin we use two greater than signs. So in order to take input, I'll just write the format and then I'm going to explain it. So suppose if I wrote it like this and I just wrote it here, enter the number, and I'm just going to write the format first and then I'm going to explain it. So I wrote the number is equal to sign, and then I wrote a, and here I can add this equal to sign. Okay, so now let me explain this program to you. So int a, I told you it is a data type. So basically if I to explain data type, I would first like to introduce you with variables. So variables are, you can say this a is actually a variable, and variables are the containers to store data. So whatever data will be entered by the user, that will all be stored in this variable. So we have a container which is called a, and this container is going to store the data which will be entered by the user. So cout is here. In the cout I have written enter the number with is equal to sign, so that it becomes very clear. So if I have written enter the number, that means, and after that I have written cna. So first this statement will appear to the user. It will ask the user to enter the number which I have written, and after that I have written a here, cin. So that means I have just entered the container where the data entered by the user will be stored. So if I'll just run it, you can see it has asked me to enter the number. So if I enter the number 7, so here I'll just explain this line afterwards, but before that I would like you to introduce this. So it's like after it actually asked me to enter a number, and this only happened when I when I added this cin. So this is why we in order to ask a user to enter, we use this variable which is a container to store data, and cin is used to add this variable. Now again I have written this line as cout with two less than signs, and I have written in the double quotes the number is. So you all know that whatever is written in double quotes will be visible to the user. So similarly here also the number is equal to sign, you can also see here it is visible to the user. And after this the 7 came because I added after the equal to sign, I wanted the number should come. So what I did is I used another these less than signs. So now if I again compare it with BlueJ, what I'll do is, if I you must be remembering that whenever we used to write this, the number is suppose, and then we had to add something, so we used the plus sign. So similarly here in cout we use the less than signs, and whatever we will add in the less than in the cout line, we will use the less than signs only, and whatever we will add in the cin line, we will use the greater than signs. So this is the note which you have to remember, and make sure you work according to this. So the number is equal to sign a. So after this equal to sign, whatever the value has stored in a will appear. So it's a very basic program, and I hope you all have understood the format of this program. So I'm running it again. So as you can see, the number is 6. So this is how a C++ program works. So this is the basic format. Now I told you about the format, I told you about variables, that they're the containers to store data. And now if I talk about data types are, you can say, different types of containers. So like we have in real life, we have different shapes of containers. Similarly, we in computer, in C++, we have different types of different types of variables. So variables are the containers, and we have different types of containers, if I say like that, which containers are the variables, and those types are called the data types. And we have basically these types. So I'll just write it in here. So the data types are, we have integer, which is written in short as int, like this in computer. Then we have when we have as double, which is written in program as double, like this. Then we have for character, which we write it as like this. So these are the different types of data types, the basic data types. We have one more for this double, that is float, which is written as, in programs we write it as float like this. And we have one more for integer, which is long, which is written as like this. So integer is basically for entering the numbers without the decimal point. For example, we can write 5, we can write 6, we can write -1, we can write 4, we can write 0. So as you can see, these all examples have the numbers without the decimal points. It doesn't matter whether the numbers are positive or negative, they can be the main thing is that they should not have decimal points. Now one more thing here, double. If I talk about double, they are used to enter the numbers with the decimal points. For example, 2.3, 2.4, or you can say 3.5 or 5.66, just like this. So this is the difference. And the long and float are actually made, like we have two types of these two data types because it depends on the memory space they acquire. So integer has a proper memory space, so we can there are times when we have to use large numbers which have many numbers. So like for example 5666666 like this, and it might happen the computer might not accept it because it is a very long number, and for that you use the long data type because it has the capability to acquire a large amount of memory space. And similarly it's with double and float. Character is nothing, it is just you can say example. For example, you write in character, whatever you will write should be in single quotes, and the whatever you will write should only be 1. So whatever you enter in these single quotes should only be 1. It cannot be AR, it should be A or 3 or 4 or $sign or percentage sign like this. Okay, so this is the character. And just one more data type I would like you to introduce is the string one. So string is basically meant for statements. If you want to enter a statement, so it's just written in double quotes only. So it's like this statement like this. Okay, so these are our examples. I would like to tell you an example for string if you haven't understood that. So for example, if I wrote here int main and I wrote, okay, just wait, okay, if I just change here only, so if I just wrote instead of this I wrote string A, and here I wrote enter your name, suppose. Okay, now what I'll do is here send A, so A will store the name which will be entered by the user. Your first name, I just write first name. Okay, now what I will do, I will just change this statement also because it's not matching. So I'll just write your name, or I can say your first name is equal to sign, and I'll and it will just print the thing. So string is basically for entering a word, so that there are times when you need it, so you can just use string for that. So enter your name. Let's say I said Mishti. Your name is your first name is Mishti. Now if I'll just tell you what is the use of it, if I'll just use int, it will not accept letters. Let me check. So if I write Mishti, it is saying that your first name is 0 because it only accepts numbers. So I will have to use string for it. Okay, so as you can see, if I again write Mishti, so your first name is Mishti, it's accepting it. Okay, so it doesn't mean if you just have to write the first name, you can also just ask the full name full name. So enter your full name. So I just say Mishti and whatever surname I have. So your name is just a minute. Yeah, for that I will have to avoid the space. So if I just write, so it's accepting A also. So this is the reason we use this. And if you want to just take the both the names, you can do like this. I'm just telling you, so if you have any curiosity for that. So if I just write enter your second name, and I'll just put another input for that, let's say B, but for that I will have to use I will have to take one more string as B. Okay, now what I'll do is I can change this statement for clearer thing, and here what I'll do is I'll just write A and B like this. Okay, so as I told you, we have to whatever we'll add in the C outline, we will have to add with 2 less than signs. Whatever will be added in this C inline, we will have to add with the 2 greater than signs. So now if I'll run it, enter your first name, so I'll just write Mishti. Your full name is Mishti A. So it works like this. So I hope you understood this well. And just one more thing I would like to conclude in this video is you can use this end L. For example, if you're adding 2 statements together, so I'll just tell you the use of end L. So if I wrote C out and I just took I wrote thank you for using this website. I took this. Now if I run it, enter first name, your full name is RRSS, thank you for using this website. So thank you for using this website actually came in the next line. But if I just remove it, so now just see what will happen. Thank you for using this website is coming in the same line where your full name is, and it is making a lot of mess. So this is why we should have a habit to use end L, because it makes a thing very, very clear. So I hope whatever I made you understood in today's video was clear. And you can just replay the video if you're having any doubts. My comment sections are always on, so you can definitely ask in there. Thank you for watching this video. Meet you in the next video. Please like this video and share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed it yet, make sure you subscribe it. Thank you. Bye.